Hey guys, Mike from Wrestling Then and Now. Thanks so much for checking out the YouTube channel and for all your support. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. I have so much content coming up. You don't want to miss anything. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. It really does help my channel grow. Thanks again.
Let's welcome to the show a legendary journeyman, a gentleman who broke it in 1977, and he's still getting in the ring. The one and only Chic Donovan, the golden boy, Chic Donovan. Chic, how are you, sir?
Very good, thank you. Very good. And that was in '75, 76 maybe, I think, when I first started training for the sport of professional wrestling.
Now I broke it in 92. Back in 92, it was relatively easy. You joined a school. It wasn't that difficult to become a wrestler. What was it like in 1976 to become a professional wrestler?
Well, I was told, you can't, but you can't do that. I was told by several different people, you can't. I'm gonna be a wrestler. You can't do that. Now, almost 50 years later, I'm going into the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest active professional wrestling. And the reason I'm saying this is because you can do or become anything you want to if you're willing to sacrifice and work hard for it.
Wow. Who broke you in?
Grady Odom was his name in Macon, Georgia. That's why I was a fireman there for a long time. And like I said, we created the EMS program in Georgia right there in '73 and Macon Fire Department. Mm-hmm. The fact that kind of proud of.
That's awesome. Was it an actual school?
Yes. Well, the wrestling school I went to.
Yeah, was it an actual school with the ring set up?
Yeah, with the ring set. Oh, yeah, sure it was. Yeah, we had a different locations through the times of training. We put the ring up, took the ring down, moved it, and did whatever I had to do to get to a new place to train. They were training every night for a long time. Hours and hours and hours of drop kicking, hours of doing this, and hours of doing that. Just train after train after train to learn all the functions and the moves and wrestling. Then you learn how to put them together in time.
Throughout your career, as far as your mechanics, who helped you out in the ring the most out of any of the guys that I would know, or even guys that I'd never heard of? Who helped you out the most?
Well, I guess I had a lot of mentors from Ivan Coley, let's see, Ole Anderson, Bill Eadie, Stan Hansen. Gosh, and he goes back even further than that. Some of the days of, some of the older guys you may not even know the names of. But when one was Bobby Simmons was one of the referees that helped me a lot in a match. I never been a heel in a match before. They put me in there, and then he just kind of led me right on through it. So I remember that like it was yesterday, and that's been a lot of years ago. But Bobby Simmons was a big influence, I think. He was one of the better referees, and Ron West was another one of the referees that helped me through those lean times of the business.
I'm fortunate enough that I keep in touch with Bill Eadie, and I think Bill Eadie is not talked about enough as some of the great workers from the 1980s. He was unbelievable.
Bill Eadie was a great babyface or a heel, good guy or a bad guy. He was, of course, he's quite intelligent. He had quite an education. He's a teacher himself. He's been teaching special needs, not special needs kids, but special kids who need special needs. And, mentoring and things of that nature. The kind of the rough kids that grew up without homes and stuff. I think he's been with those kids for years and years, and I think still maybe finishing up by now. But they want him to come. I think 2 years ago they said he wanted to come back for another year or so. So I'm not sure if he's still working, but yeah, he was one of the greatest. I think I've ever known in wrestling. He was one of my heroes, I guess. One of the best characters I've ever known.
Yeah, me too. And what a gentleman too. What can you tell me about Ole Anderson?
Ole was a guy who was straight up. He could tell you like it was. He liked tough guys. He and I got in a chopping contest in the dressing room, and I was banging him. He was banging me. I was banging him. My chest was bleeding. His chest was bleeding. I was banging him, and he quit. I wasn't going to quit because he liked tough guys. I got over him pretty soon when I never quit. Never quit.
What can you tell me about working with a young Hulk Hogan in the late '70s? He wasn't even Hulk Hogan at the time. I think he was Sterling Gold at
It
the
was
time.
Sterling Gold. We had the TV match. I was still a firefighter at the time, so I'm still had short hair. But he was just another big guy that came into town at the time, and it was a little bit limited. But what he did though, he went to work and learned how to use that microphone, and he had the size and maybe not so much wrestling ability, but he had a lot of size, and he was great charisma on the mic, and got himself over and drew some of the biggest houses I've ever seen in wrestling since before Texas Stadium and those buildings we went to. But he drew a lot of folks, but through his charisma.
Yeah. Was he a good guy in the back? Did you get along with him?
Yeah, Hogan and I got along well. We worked out of the gym together. With Vince McMahon was there, always there working out with us. And because every time we hit a town, the first thing we did go to the gym, and he was. That's just what you did. That gym was the most important, one of the most important things in your life, hitting that gym every day. And I go 2 to 3 times a day now.
Wow.
To lead by example. Because I got to lead by example. When I go in there, do something, I got to be the best. Because I'm the veteran, not veteran. I'm the legend or whatever you want to call me. But I try to always lead by example.
What can you tell me about working with Jimmy Hart? He's another guy that every time he's around, he's just a pleasure to be around.
Jimmy Hart was a bubbly. He was over the top. He worked with the greatest mind in the business of Jerry Lawler, of creating all kind of matches. And Memphis was a different place. It was a different mindset, different kind of matches. Memphis was just I don't know what you want to call it, bedlam, I guess, all the time. But Jerry Lawler had it going, brother. And it was we drew every night. And then made a lot of trips. It was about a 4,000 or 5,000 mile territory, but it was a lot of fun. It was good. The first family was always really good to work with, and Jimmy Hart himself was such a good, genteel man, very dedicated to the wrestling business.
4,000 miles. That's a week?
Yeah, that was probably every week. We go from like Saturday morning. We had to go from to Nashville, from Nashville to Memphis back to Nashville. The bad guys didn't get paid. The bad guys had to go. The good guys got to live in Memphis. The bad guys had to live in Nashville. So we had to make the longest trips. The heels in Memphis weren't treated too well. And they were just treated how they were ever treated. But the babyfaces had it made in Memphis, I think. They had all the goodies. The heels had to earn everything. But it was okay.
How'd you like working with Jerry Lawler?
My time in Memphis was good. It was good. I went there twice, and the second time I got to work with Rocky Johnson, and we had a little title match there at the end when he was leaving out, and through those matches with The Rock, I have learned, Rocky Johnson booked me in Hawaii and different places around, and The Rock, Dwight, his son. Dwayne was at the matches there. He got to know me. I didn't know him, but he got to know me working with his dad and stuff. In fact, he even talked about me on the Ofalucha show one day when they were talking about his father's career. He mentioned my name, so I thought it was pretty cool. With Dwayne talking about me on that national TV, I thought it was pretty cool.
You mentioned Rocky Johnson.
Anyway, I really don't know him, but if anything like his dad, he's got to be a tremendous fellow. Great athlete, I can tell that already, from his past experience. And I think his movie making is very diversified, so he's got to be just an incredible young man.
Yeah. You mentioned Rocky Johnson. His partner was Soul Train Jones, Virgil, correct?
Yes, sir. In one of the shows, yes, sir. He was. He was a great-looking athlete, really great-looking athlete. He worked hard in the gym, and yeah, he was around for a while.
How'd you like working with Jerry Lawler?
Jerry was, like I said, one of the 2 smartest guys in the business world. And one was Dusty Rhodes, and then Jerry Lawler. Jerry was a really smart businessman, and how working with him, was really good. He was the man to work with in the Memphis area, like Hogan was in the Atlanta area, or the New York area. You always work with those guys. You were, in the ring, you're going to draw a little extra money with working with those fellas. So They always worked hard to work well with him.
You worked for Vern, correct?
Sure.
Did you work for Vern? Vern Gagne?
No, I was supposed to go in and do a thing. I don't know exactly what, some kind of thing in there with them, but it never worked out. So I never actually worked for Vern, but once a little twice, just come in, going in and out, but never worked that territory. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to it, but it never worked out. So I never actually got to work for the Gagnes.
How'd you like
worked around with Fritz. Well, the whole family was a different character. They're all great athletes. Kevin was the best of all of them, I think, socially and maybe mentally and everything else. Kevin was really the good kid out of all of them. But yeah, Kerry and I went to Japan together, and we made a lot of trips together. And he was as soon as we get back from the show at 3:00 in the morning, whatever time it was, he'd be at the gym working out again. So he was always dedicated to that gym, brother, and you could tell by his work and by his look. Yeah, he was a great athlete.
How over were the Von Erich boys?
Well, the whole territory was over if you couldn't walk on the street. You couldn't go out. You couldn't go even to Walmart without being mobbed. We got $2,000 an hour just signing autographs in different places, But the Texas was so strong in the wrestling at that time. When David passed away, we did the Texas Stadium show, and it was a sellout everywhere we went. It was always good. It was a good place because we went into Arkansas, we went into, of course, Missouri and all the stuff around Texas and up and down, all the way up and down Texas all the time. But it was a great territory. I really enjoyed myself there, and they're very good to me. I enjoyed working with all the Von Erichs. But I was right there in the heyday, and I just saw the movie they made about him not long ago, and I was there at that time when that movie was being filmed about. But it was a great time of my career right there in Dallas, Texas.
Did you get along with Fritz?
Yeah, we got along well. I got along well with all the Von Erichs. I sure did. Yeah, he wasn't around as much as Mantell was, the booker. I don't know how often Fritz was on the shows. Yeah, I guess he was on the big show, but he was always there in the back, But in the ring, I never worked with him in the ring. In fact, I don't know if I ever saw him in the ring, unless he got in Texas Stadium some kind of way. I'm not sure now, but yeah, he was retired. But yeah, he was. They were a money-making family, I guarantee you, and they knew how to draw people in the arena. Then another example of you can do what you want to do if you want to do it bad enough is one Saturday morning. My car was messed up. I didn't have a car to get to TV in Atlanta at 8:00 in the morning. I had to be at TBS from Macon, Georgia. In fact, I lived a little bit on 475, where my 475 runs into 75, and that comes on up to Atlanta up that way. And I didn't have a car one morning, so we were going on a road trip for a week. As soon as we got done with TV that Saturday, we were going to fly out to Ohio, wherever we're going. So I had a big suitcase full of stuff. It had wheels on it. And then I had a suit bag, and I had it hanging over one arm, and a heavy wrestling bag with all the stuff in it. There's enough stuff for a week, enough clothes and stuff. So now here I am, got the suitcase in one hand, and it's got a lanyard and wheels on it, and I'm walking up 475. Now, by the time I get up to 75, the suitcase wheels are gone. I'm dragging that suitcase up 475, up 70, highway 75, walking to TV. Because I didn't have the car, but I'm going to get there. I'm getting there. Ain't nothing going to stop me from getting to TV. So I'm now walking to Atlanta, Georgia from Macon. I don't know how, and I finally got there. I got there on time, but I don't remember. The Lord just got me there. I don't know how. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I walked enough to where that suitcase was there, had a big hole in the side of it, dragging it on the highway. That's for now, but it was a trip. That would have been quite a movie to watch. But again, I like using that for example. Nobody can stop you but yourself if you don't do something bad enough.
Yeah, you're very motivating, Chick. You're very motivating.
Well, thank you.
So talk to me about, you mentioned the NWA TV. Who was the booker when you worked for the NWA?
Ole was the booker most, I guess. I was working for his brother Lars Anderson before I met Ole. And then I went to see Ole in TBS, and then, but he did the book I guess basically the whole time. But now, Bill Watts came in there for about 2 minutes, and then somebody else for short. But Ole was in control of most of the operations the whole time I was in Atlanta and WCW. But Ole was but when WCW came in, that's when. Dusty came and took WCW, but because they came and got the thing from Ole, I think, and created WCW with the guy out of Carolina, out of Charlotte.
How'd you get along with Dusty?
And I was his main boy for years, and then I got a little heat with him, and so then he tried to kill me off on TV, but but I was his main boy for years. When I was a fireman, I'd go back and forth to Florida TV. He'd fly me back and forth every week. Did that TV down there, and then of course all the TVs up here. And he never gave me a position, but he gave me work. But one Saturday morning, I didn't want to do what he wanted me to do, so I left. It was probably the biggest mistake in my career, and I walked out, and he never talked to me again. But one time he said, "You got matches Flair, TV matches Flair somewhere in the Carolinas," and he tried to commentate it and try to put me down. But I think actually the match money got me over more than put me down. It was a decent match. Flair followed me right to a T. We never said a word. Flair just followed me, and then I followed him a little, and he'd follow me. So we had a pretty good match on that. It's been on TV, on the telephones for years and years now. It's been a lot of watches. But I would have probably worked a little differently now than what it did then, but it turned out pretty good. I enjoy working with him. He's the greatest. He was one of the 2 or 3 greatest ever in the ring, I think. Along with Ricky Steamboat and 2 or 3, Brad Armstrong and a few other guys. They were really good.
Chick, I tell everybody when someone mentions Brad Armstrong, I tell them, just watch Brad Armstrong enter a ring. Just watch him go from the floor to the canvas to the ring. It's poetry. It's beautiful. Just watching the man enter the ring. He flies in the ring. Brad Armstrong is unbelievable.
Years ago, we were in the ring when the TV came back up. Then we were in the commercial break. We were in the ring. We didn't have no entrances, but then later on, like you said, we got those entrances to the ring and whatever. Yeah, Brad was quite inspiration to the young folks, but he was quite an athlete. And his dad helped me out a great deal in the business as well, Bob. But all his brothers were very good. And Scott lasted a long time as a referee in New York. But they're very good athletes. But they're all and then Bob passed away, and then Miss Gail, their mama passed away some years ago now. But yeah, she was a tough lady. I met her a few times at the match. She was a tough lady to raise all them boys. But yeah, that was a mess. Raising boys in the wrestling business got to be hard, man.
Yeah, I would think so. You mentioned New York. Yeah. Chick, the first match I ever saw of yours, because I grew up in New Jersey, so it's just East Coast WWE. It was Ricky Steamboat versus you in a TV match. Now this is when Ricky Steamboat, he was on fire. He just came back. He was ready. He was about to have his match with Savage and win the IC belt. So he was a top guy. He had a match with you. Chick, you controlled 75% of the match. I remember to this day watching this match saying, who is this Chic Donovan? Because you got to understand, I didn't know you at the time because I was just a kid. Yeah, you bumped Steamboat all over that ring for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was very cordial. He just followed me. And I suplexed him over the top rope back and just all the stuff he did. We was right there. I don't know how long we were supposed to be. I know we were there for a while. So, I don't know. I never talked to the management, but I just said, they just told us to go out and work. But, that match I thought was pretty good. It was one Saturday morning, cold. I remember I chopped him, and that sweat just flew off of him, chopped the starch out of him there. But, he was a great competitor. He did the little play dead gimmick in the ring, and he jumped on whatever and did all kind of different stuff in that match. I thought it was pretty good. It was one of my favorite matches, I guess, because we worked together so well. It's about respect. If you give respect, you get respect, and wrestling is about respect to one or the other for your talent, their talent. You respect them for what they've done, and so when you have that mutual respect, it's easier to have a good match. you don't think about it. You just go do it. You just follow one thing leads to another, or just reaction is all it amounts to. Now, I like to take the young kids to the ring and let them feel what a real match feels like, because nowadays they don't many of them get a chance to be in a ring with too many professionals and on the independent leagues. And it's all the same stuff over and over again, what they see on TV. And we go fly around everywhere and forget about what wrestling is about. And like I said, again, it's about emotions. You got to grab people's emotions and have them with you in the ring. Make them cry or sit down, stand up, whatever you want them to do. But you just have to follow those emotions. And once you understand that, then it makes going out and having a match so much easier. It's so much more relaxed and so much easier. You just do stuff without even thinking about it, because you're feeling their emotions. Their emotions are leading you around. And that's what real wrestling's all about, is feeling those emotions.
Do you ever work Harley Race?
I never have. I knew Harley well. I was in the dressing room many times when he was trying. He had a cattle prod. He liked to cattle prod everybody with. But I said, I was always in awe of Harley Race, and that big knee drop he had was just incredible. His work was phenomenal. But I never had the chance to work with him. He worked a lot with Tommy Rich, and those guys back in the 70s, early 80s, whatever it was. But yeah, he was quite a professional. And who was managing him? I can't think who was managing. One of the older guys was managing him at the time that ran Florida. But yeah, he's a good guy. I really enjoyed him. I think he's passed away now, but he was a great champion. I think one of my first matches goes back to champion. Lou Thesz was on the card.
Wow.
In my first match, I think Lou Thesz was kind of pinching up. So I've seen a lot of the great champions.
Wow.
But Flair had to be the best. Flair had to be the best, still is the best. He'll always be the best. Best worker. Every hour match, just all the kind of matches he and Dusty, all the guys had, just phenomenal stuff. Phenomenal. In fact, he had me announce as Ric Flair in the ring one night in Orlando or something. Yeah, it was kind of a thing between he and I guess. But yeah, he's a great guy.
How'd you like working with the young Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty?
They had gotten over really strong around the country, and they came into Memphis, and then I guess Jack Hart worked with them. And, their work was great, but I was a little disappointed in how they were dressed. I thought they should have been a little more articulate with the positions they had. But no, it was great. They were great workers, great workers. Marty now is so brain dead through opioids and that he can't even hardly talk, unfortunately. And Shawn became a millionaire. But he was an incredible worker. Shawn Michaels, incredible worker. Yeah, it's really good.
Let me ask you this. I consider you like an unsung hero in pro wrestling. Like, you're someone who, has done it all and should get a little more credit. Who in your mind do you feel is an unsung hero that was just a phenomenal worker and maybe isn't out there in the public eyes as much as they should be?
Well, the best first match ever in the business was Ted Allen. I don't know how far he went with any of the major organizations, but he was always all independent, but he was around for a long time. If you need anything about wrestling, you call him, and he had it. But his athletic and his ability in the ring in the first match is phenomenal. Now, he was with the First Family. He was one of the mask with the mask guys. But yeah, he was a great athlete. But Ted Allen was his name. He passed away too soon. Getting ready to go to the matches one day, he just fell over dead in his bedroom. Getting ready to go. But yeah, at a young age too, 50-something, I think it was. It's like Brad. But yeah, Ted was a great one of the greats.
Talk to me about working for Impact Wrestling. How old were you when you worked for Johnny Swinger? 75?
76. I'm sorry.
You looked amazing. I mean, just physically, before you even got in the ring, just physically, I just couldn't believe you're 76 years old. You look amazing. And I mean,
I'm, you know,
and you still got
I'm trying
in
to stay
there.
away all the
Crazy.
time. I try to lead by example wherever I go in every ring. Just try to be the best I can be, and try to be the best there is in the building, as good as I can be. I work, like I say, go to the gym twice a day. I work hard to be able to lead by example, and it means a lot to me to feel like I've done all my work. If I don't do all my work at the gym and all the things, all my preparation, it just ain't right when I get to the show. So I have to prepare my mind and my body to be in the right spot when I get to that, when I drive in that parking lot at that show, because I become a superstar at that point. I'm a jabroni when I leave the house, but when I walk in that drive in that parking lot, I'm the star of the show. And I carry myself that way, where I dress, my car shiny, my little Cadillac, gold, you got to be a gold Cadillac. And it's shiny, and I dress. It costs me a lot of extra money to dress, but that's my job to lead by example. I think to show what a professional is supposed to look like.
How did you enjoy working for Impact?
Oh, Impact! I'd love to retire there. I'd love to be able to get another match with me and retire in Impact. But John Swinger is just a great guy. I've known him for years, and the Impact had more guys there than I've ever seen. I mean, it was a center stage, but center stage has been changed a little bit from the time we used to go there with WCW. But they had some great looking guys and a bunch of very respectful guys too, and they were very professional, all of them. And it was a great dressing room to be in, and a great bunch to be with that night. I really enjoyed it. I love to be able to get back with them, but who knows? It may happen one day, but I'd love for it to. Go in and get a regular spot in there. It'd be really good. Yeah, John Swing is a good man. I've seen him recently, had some matches with him, got in different places around, and he's a constant, or whatever you call professional. He's a good guy. In the ring, out of the ring, person. He's just has a great heart and a great athlete.
Chick, you got anything you could tell the young wrestlers these days? Any advice before we go?
Well, advice. Learn your trade. Learn how to wrestle. You may think you may know how to do this, may not know that, but that's you gotta learn how to capture and how to give and receive those emotions from the fan, and work on developing your talent to be able to satisfy those people's emotions. What do they need is what you give them at the time they need it. And in time, if you take more time to learn how to wrestle. Now, the best advice I ever got on playing music, I played bass at church, was know my neck and listen to the music. So know where all my C sharps and all my C's, F sharp, and know my neck, where all the chords are, and listen to music. I'll hear an F. When I hear the F, I know right where to go. Now, if I didn't know my neck, I'd be searching for an F, and the song would be over. You follow me? So you got to know your business. You go out and you study about what wrestling is really about. It ain't all about headlocks and drop kicks and things. It's about how you put it together. It's how you handle people's emotions. And the biggest high spot of the whole match, I can tell you right now, is the lockup in the beginning. The lockup in the beginning, and knowing what time it is to go home. Knowing what time when the match is over. The kids nowadays want to create a new, and the match should be over, and they create a new one, and go on and on and on, and nothing means anything. So, learn how to do it, to take a good lockup, and to be real sharp on when you take that headlock or take that arm. Be the best there is at just taking those little small moves. Those little small moves it means more than probably 10 flips and things over the top rope. It's how you go about locking up, and how you take that headlock and take that guy over with that headlock. Those small things, the detail things, is what really counts in wrestling. That's what people watch. That's what the details. That's what their emotions get, is those details that you're selling. If you sell the details, they'll buy it, and then you can feel their emotions back to you. Then that tells you how much to sell, when it's time to go, when it's time to do whatever. Their emotions will tell you what to do in the ring. You ain't got to think about in the back or calling about whatever you think. You just listen for their emotions, and then you move on their emotions. I guess that's the biggest advice I got is just train hard, learn how to wrestle, learn how to wrestle, and listen to the people.
Chick, I want to run through a brick wall right now. You got me so pumped. you got me so motivated. Like, man, you're inspiring. You are inspiring.
Well, I get excited about talking. Sometimes I go too fast or whatever. I get all excited about stuff, and I get excited about life and wrestling. I have been excited 50 years about wrestling, but it still kind of runs me. It runs my attitudes and how hard I work in the gym, and how great I want to be when I walk in that arena. I got to be the best. I may not be, but I'm the best I can be. I guarantee you that. Whenever you see me, I'm the best I can be, and I ain't gonna come no less than being the best either.
Chick, when I saw you on social media, I was just excited because you're one of the few guys who can actually give this advice to people. You're a guy who did the territories. You're a guy who worked with the best, who was one of the best, and it's just a shame that people won't get to experience how to work and how the business was back when you were, in your heyday. That's when the business, that's when I loved the business. That's when, I missed those days as a fan and just as a worker, just sad. A lot of stuff is gone now.
Those were the days. They were days of the consummate, if that's the word, professional. Billy, right. Ric Flair. We're talking about Stan Hansen. We're talking about real professionals. They carried themselves as professionals for the most part. And there's one afternoon, and I can't. Well, I want to say Paul Orndorff. I want to say, I mentioned him earlier. I can't think of the match I had with him. Sometimes names Ricky Steamboat. Again, Bob Armstrong. Just consummate professionals, man. Right. Mr. Wrestling number 2 was one of my big inspirations. He's one that gave my name the Golden Boy. He told me I should be the Golden Boy. One day, so I developed the character to meet that. To try to be the Golden. I am the Golden. I'm the Golden Boy is me, and I am the Golden Boy. You can't have a gimmick without being. It's got to be real. It's got to be you. Yeah, right. And Nature Boy Ric Flair is Ric Flair. He's Nature Boy is Rick, and Rick is the Nature Boy. It's one and the same. Anyway, always work hard, be the best you can be, and don't leave nothing behind.
That's words to live by, Chick. Not just for wrestling, for anything in life. It's very motivating. Very motivating.
Well, thank you. You know what? I need somebody to help those folks in Kentucky to give me a license. They won't give me a wrestling license because they say I'm too old. That's where the Book of World Records is supposed to be to verify that I was still the oldest guy, but they wouldn't give me a license there. I couldn't get in the ring in Kentucky. They said I'm too old. So we need to shout out somebody on your podcast or how far you go. Give Chick a Kentucky wrestling license so I can get up there with my friends and get the job done up there, because I really enjoy the fans there, and got a lot of good friends around Kentucky, that area up that way. But yeah, get them to give me a license from the Kentucky wrestling license. That's what I need right now.
Commission, huh?
Sure.
They still have a commission?
Yeah, I had to get it. Yeah, they wouldn't give me one. They said I was too old.
Oh, man.
Send all the physical and all the application and all that stuff in, but they said, no, you're too old. Yeah, you watch me in a match, I'll show you how old I am. You get in the ring with me, I'll show you how old I am, bro. Yeah. I ain't done yet. And, I don't know how much longer I got, but I'm going to put it out there 100% until the time comes. But I appreciate you having me, and it's always good to be able to converse with our fans and our folks, and maybe leave a word of wisdom or something along the way that one of the kids can use. But the kids, again, for all the kids, stay on point. And your point is the next day is your homework. Have your homework ready for your school the next day. But your point of life is where you go in life, what you want to create, and stay on that point. Don't let the junk get you. The junk got me, and I lost my $1 million spots because I was in the junk and I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time when those opportunities came. So stay on point, kids. That education is the most important thing in your life right now, and it gives you so many more opportunities when you get out of school, when you start your life, it'll make things so much easier for you than having to struggle for every minuscule penny you may get. Just get that education. It'll give you a good opportunity to get out and make something of yourself in the world. Very good.
Awesome. Thank you, Chick. I thank you for tonight. I thank you for all your years in wrestling. And thank you for coming on and spreading all that information and knowledge. I hope a lot of people learned something tonight. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you and what you do and enlightening all the folks about, a lot of the different guys that they may not see a lot. And I just appreciate what you do as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.